right, so it's week 3 and I'm gonna take you to my thought process of how I use AI to basically take a vague idea that's in my mind, brain dump it into a voice recorder, into ChatGPT, and then from ChatGPT, structure it, ask her for blind spots, questions, stuff like this, if I see the need to, and then take it into actionable steps. So it's all the way from like brain dump, the thoughts that I have in my mind, helping them to arrange it and then to create an actionable step list from these thoughts. Are you ready? Let's go. All right, so point number 1. I have here the voice recording app on my phone. I use it all the time to basically record a bunch of like brain dumps and stuff, to record my thoughts. And then the best thing about it is that it actually has like an innate transcription tool. So if I click, for example, like here on a recording, I can basically see the transcription tool, view transcript. So view transcript. And then it automatically like shows all of the words that I basically read. It's not always accurate, but it's like really good and really simple to use. Now, why don't I use directly the ChatGPT one? So I don't speak with it like a human, because I like that when I'm in my thought process to like actually like record the big of it. So for example, like when I'm in ChatGPT and I speak with it, at every pause that I make, it's gonna think that, oh, my question is ready, and then they can process an answer with, which is not what I want. I want to fully be able to like think like, okay, wait a minute, this and this, and then speak, and then at the end I basically take the whole process and then I put it into ChatGPT. Now, for the intents and purposes of this video, I'm also going to record on both sides, so you can hear me even like in the thought process. I might cut part of it later, but the most important thing that I basically want to share is the process. So I don't know if like, hey, brain dumping everything, but for the purposes of documenting, I might brain dump everything and you might be able to hear it. If I do decide to put it on and you do decide to like, hey, you want to skip it, I'm gonna put a timestamp for you to be able to jump to at a later point. So without further ado, let's get going. All right, so I'm basically processing some thoughts right now I have about this project that I'm creating, and I need your help in order to structure all of these ideas that are living rent-free inside of my head, so I can take them out of my head and create it into some more actionable steps later. But first, I want to brain dump all of these ideas from my head, and I need your help to structure it. Are you ready? Let's go. First and foremost, a little bit of background. I have this project that I've been like working on, which is the Romania-Dubai the Romania-Dubai Business Council. I've been working with it with like Jenna, who is the founder of it, and I've been helping to do the marketing. It's quite an extensive field into the marketing that involves kind of like website creation, newsletter creation, social media content creation, community, the online community creation and management. And later, not at this stage, just like later, there will be like advertising involved. So through all of these things, like we've basically gone through phase kind of like 1 or like 0.1, which is or 1.1 actually, which is the website creation. So yeah, now we're basically almost done with website creation, so we need to move into the next levels of newsletter creation, community creation, integrating all the payment processor, membership signups, and all the other things that we need in order to launch the community, including like the social media announcements, the video sales letters, and all of these other things that we have. And that's kind of like the background, that I need help in structuring some things with that. And I want to understand how I can use AI in most of these processes, because I want to also be able to like extract through calls, So Geno, the founder, and then the other founders, like they can answer a lot of questions. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to have some like joint calls or some like founder interviews where I basically ask them a lot of questions in order for me and for my team to get a lot of information from them. Because them explicitly like saying it like might think it's not relevant and so on and so forth. So like now part of my job is actually to figure out like, hey, where besides the website, like what is the extra information that I need, so I can create like a list of questions and basically like interview Geno and interview kind of like the other founders potentially several times in order to kind of like get all of their areas of expertise and like all the knowledge about like what the community does, what the council does, like what it's its scope and blah 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 blah. So that I can take all of this information and feed it into AI in order to create like an AI assistant like chatbot, that can answer questions on the website or even questions in the community. I want to also ask it so like hey, it can take kind of like qualification calls, because we expect users or like potential new members to basically like still have questions and want to speak to a person and like ask them questions about the community. So yeah, that first step, that process is gonna be taken through AI. So first they're gonna call an AI agent that's hopefully gonna have like 90% of the questions that they're asking for, and then if they don't, okay, it's gonna move it to a human. But basically, we want to get as much information about the community as we can in order to be able to feed it into the AI to have all the knowledge necessary so that it can answer these questions. Because we're trying to have like a very lean company. Not gonna hire sales reps. The founders are not really gonna be the ones speaking on the phone. I personally don't know all of the things that I should know, or that the people are gonna ask about the community and like the founder success and blah 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 blah. So it's only right that like we ask them questions in order to extract this information from them. So I need to also figure that out as the next part of the process, the kind of like the most immediate part of the process, so that we can also take all of this information, feed it into the bots in order to create the bots, and feed it into the like also the marketing campaign, in order to like basically create the newsletters from it, in order to create the launch announcements, to create the social media posts. And as far as social media, like we're also going to be using AI to create content from all of this information. We might also be using like to make an AI avatar, at least a voice clone, and potentially even like a facial clone. So we might also want to do that, because we don't expect the founders to actually like film a lot of videos. But they will film like a couple of videos in the beginning, but then we want to see how we can automate most of the process. And that is where I want to like remind you that like, hey, my main kind of like business that I'm going into is AI automations. So I want to use this as like a very powerful use case of using AI automation into all of these processes. So something that until now I would have to basically do manually with my team. Now I actually want to do using AI and using AI automations in order to be able to spit out a lot more content. And then, okay, me and my team can focus on just doing the fine tuning of the AI, of the answers, like checking the content before it's being posted, doing all the posting calendar, engagement, blah, blah, blah. But the majority of the, extracting the ideas from the mind of the founders, and processing it in like many different ways in order to basically bring more users, to bring more customers, to bring more members into the community. So that's the general idea that I basically need help structuring, because there's many moving parts here. Everything from like, hey, the interviews themselves, like what question am I going to ask in these interviews, to like the entire setups of the workflows, like, hey, on the website, like, connecting all of the bots, preparing them, doing all of the setup for all of the bots. On that part, also like, creating the content and like, structuring the content creation part. And yeah, actually doing kind of like the implementation and the preparation for launch, and then the launch, which will later include like a bit of advertising, and yeah, also figuring out those campaigns and yada yada yada. So I need to figure out this process step by step. But before we go into the step by step, I want you to structure it. I want you to structure it and basically tell me what you understand from all of this. Like, hey, what are the processes that you understand that I need to do, so that I may manually, like, hey, add or remove some. So put everything that you can think of right now, even, like extra ideas that I haven't potentially thought about. But make sure you definitely include all of the processes that I've said in this message, potentially, and then some. And then before moving on to the step-by-step plan, I will actually double check and then move forward to the process. Okay, let's go. Yeah, so that's about it. Now we click done. It's gonna take a couple of minutes. It's actually like done. It's actually ready right now. View transcript. So we can view this transcript. And now I'm actually going to take you into my computer, which is right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to view this transcript. We can even do this on the phone. But yeah, what I like to do is I like to use the computer for like bigger, for a lot more stuff. So I'm just gonna like copy basically like all of this, and then with, I don't know what it's called, but smart paste, I'm just gonna like paste it in the thing. Let me see if I can. So we're now going to move into the screen. You can see I opened up here a new chat window. We're using like GPT-4o. Yeah, so as we can see, this is a transcript and the wording might not be 100% accurate. So I just put that up so that it understands. And then I'm just gonna hit send. I'm not gonna modify anything else. Hit send. It's going to process, and it's going to create a very nice structure for me based on what I said. It's not a step-by-step plan yet. It's just a very nice structure. Like, hey, phase one, ideation, info, execution. So, founder interviews, everything that I told her about founder interviews, knowledge management, organize exact information, blah, blah, blah. Then I want to do phase one, the infrastructure setup, which is kind of, I'm already doing it. It's not precisely right, but still the way that it understands it, it's quite right. System setup, CRM and member support, like, hey, phase two, content and community systems, so newsletter system, social media engine, video sales letter, phase three, launch preparation, execution, phase four, growth, paid and growth hacking, ongoing optimization, tech stack, suggestions, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so let's say like now I can actually hey, modify a couple of things, but for the sake of the argument right now, I'm just gonna put give me a step-by-step action plan. So yeah, for the intents and purpose of this thing, like I would just go like, hey, give me a step-by-step action plan, and then they're just gonna give me literally like a step-by-step action plan, like step one, step two, step three, phase one, phase 2.1, phase 2.2, set up AI assistant, define use cases, blah blah blah. Again, it's not necessarily gonna be 100% accurate because I did not give it like more context into what I'm doing. So for the purpose of this video, I'm not gonna like actually go and like do all of the nitty-gritty right now, just because I want to stop the video and do this kind of like on my own time. But still, it's important, like, hey, I want to show you like how easy it is in basically like 3 simple steps. I brain dump all of my thoughts into here. I go and I tell it to structure it, and then I tell them to create like a step-by-step plan, and then I can like tweak the plan, and then I can like, oh, here, this, and this, and then I go back, I take the plan that it made, I go and tweak it, and then I go back and it's like, hey, this is like my new plan, or I put it directly into like my planner, depending on kind of like what I want to do. It's how I take it from my mind into the the AI and spit out like some actionable steps, which makes a huge difference. Makes a huge difference, as you can see here. And to me, not having to do all of this, like structuring and organizational work, I just brain dump this massive text. Sometimes I even write it, sometimes I even like, hey, I'm thinking about this and this, and then when I write it, I do give it kind of like more details and like more context depending on blah blah blah. But all right, so I've actually been planning with ChatGPT off camera for a few minutes because the responses that I got weren't actually ideal. So let me show you. Let me show you here. I basically got this kind of like phase structure, which like, hey, everything revolved around, hey, the founder, knowledge and extraction of the interviews, which isn't necessarily the way that I think about it, because like, hey, I'm not gonna like, I need to do things before I get like, to talk to these founders, and I need to do things in order to understand what type of questions I need to ask them and blah 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 blah. So the thing is that I actually want this more like modular setup. So I actually explain here into ChatGPT that like, hey, I want basically this kind of like tree structure with the final nodes, the leaves that are the outcomes. So for example, an outcome would be like the AI chatbot being up and running, connected to the website with all the information that it needs, usable and blah blah blah, and then it's marked as like done. But still, I can like do all of the setup of the chatbot without having all the major information. I can like have it up and running and tested without giving it like the entire knowledge base, which is an asynchronous activity that I can do while I wait for other things to happen. So that's actually the mind map that I like working with mind map. So for example, like I basically told it how what I would want it, and I told it to like, hey, I want some of these step-by-step plans, but first I need to identify the outcomes and make sure that these are the ones that I want a step-by-step plan for. So like, okay, hey, do you got it? Crystal clear, blah blah blah. So then they gave me like a list of outcomes, and here I have a lot of outcomes, from like infrastructure and automation outcomes, like the content, the community, the growth outcomes, and everything. And I'm like, okay, cool, hey, this looks good. And right now I'm basically in the infrastructure outcomes. So like, hey, let's start with the infrastructure outcomes. So here, I'm like, hey, looks good. Let's start with the infrastructure. Give me the modular step-by-step plan. So here it gave me like a more modular step-by-step plan. Like for example, for the chatbot, which is the thing that I want to look for. It's like, hey, choose chatbot platform, define core use cases, like initiate initial knowledge base, connect to website, test, respond logic, fallback paths, integrate CRM, train with actual founder data and founder interview data. So this is kind of like the last step, instead of it being like the necessary prerequisite step. Then without it, I cannot do anything. It's like, no, well, I can actually like do all of these things before, and then I just get the data, and then I just train it. So that's something that I think it's much more useful for the way that I work. And it's more like, oh, okay, cool, like I need to do bum these things, and then these things I can like, hey, outsource to parts of my team, and then they can kind of like figure out these other things. That is much more helpful for me than to have a linear approach. Okay, first, like we need all of this, and then without it, it's like, oh, we cannot do anything. Well, no, we can do a lot of things. So this is another way that you can like refine your answers. And might put this in the middle of the video. So now I'm gonna send you back to the video. Cheers. It just saves me a lot of time and helps me as an, I don't know, ADHD person, that like I just have a lot of thoughts going on, and these things live rent free. Putting them down either on paper or into the computer right now is a huge deal. So that's basically what I've been up to, what I'm going through right now in this process, and yeah, how I think I can use a lot of the things, because I know I want to use AI automations, but there's like so many things to do. Like I've been looking at tutorials. I've been like doing my own kind of like tinkering with them. I've been thinking about buying a mentorship, but I have this opportunity right now to create this environment to basically like put it into action in terms of like chatbots, in terms of like the call bots, in terms of like the AI clones, in terms of making the content and automating like a bunch of other flows within this company that's gonna give me like more hands-on experience. And then I can use this to sell it to other people, either, inside of the company that see it and they're like, hey, I love what you did with this. Like, can you help me? Or, like have more actual experience that when I go out and sell these chatbots, I actually call something else like assistants or something. I forget. But anyway, when I do kind of like go out and sell services, I have this like very strong use case, and I know both the things that can go good, the success that it brings, and the things that can go wrong. Because when we go from course information and tinkering and like this kind of like sandbox environment to actually production environment, there's unforeseen use cases of how people use it, of how people break it, of how people, like get the wrong answers for the right questions and stuff like this. So it's important to get this live user feedback, and this is quite of a low stakes of a process of a project that I'm already in and that I'm super excited about, honestly, because of the community aspect of it and because of the major opportunities of being with high net worth individuals, Romanians even, from that are expanding to Dubai or that are doing business in Dubai. So yeah, it just seems like the right thing to do right now in my journey. So I'm excited, and I'm excited to have you for the journey. If you like this video, please like it, ask me a question in the comments, or give me a different thing in the comments. And yeah, subscribe for the journey. It's actually the first video that I remember to say these things. Like, share, subscribe, the classic. So I would really appreciate if you do it. Follow me along for the journey, and I will see you soon. Peace.